Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back with the track guide, this time at Red Bull Ring North, which is one I've never driven before, and it's in the Toyota GR86 using the fixed setup and the test session loaded from the schedule. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and let's start the lap. It's going to be a quick one. Alright, let's start the hot lap. So, coming up the hill into third gear, just after the 50-metre marker, we're braking up to about 60%, trailing it off all the way down to first, getting on the gas nice and early, cutting back across to the right to make the track as short as possible, and keeping in a straight line which will take us over to the left-hand side of the track. Slightly harder braking this time after the 100 metres, braking up to about 90%, long trail off, again down to first gear, just for a quick blip of extra torque, back up through the gears, up to fourth, wait until we're alongside the cones, then we do a lift, tiny bit on the brakes, drop it down to third, braking harder now, down to first gear, cut the corner a little bit, and back on the gas. It's a very, very simple track, but it's hard to do consistently at the right pace. Do the breakdown right now. Right, breakdown. Gonna be easy. So, our first braking marker, it's a couple of beats after we pass the 50. So we pass the 50, and then we brake up to about 70%. We're in third gear, we're going to trail it off, drop it down to second, keep trailing off the brakes, dropping it down to first, and as we come off the brakes, we get back on the gas just before the apex, and then we try and get up to 100% as soon as possible. This is the fixed setup, so we have got traction control switched on, which I hate, and default ABS mode of 2, which does mean we can be quite sure we're not going to lock anything up. We don't want to burn those tyres out either, overheating them. Right, as we come into turn 2, so this time it's just after the 100-metre marker, so you see I go past the 100-metre marker. As soon as I've done that, I start getting off the gas, I brake up to it nearly 90% yet, 90%, wiping all that speed off in a straight line, drop it down to fourth, to third, to second, still trailing it off on the brakes, down to first gear, back on the gas, almost at 2/3 pressure on the apex, and then as I leave the apex, yeah, we're back up to 100%. Back over to the right-hand side. Up to fifth. Right, so we're going to go past this green bit of asphalt ahead of us, and we're going to be almost halfway along these cones on the right-hand side, and then we're going to do a lift almost down to nothing. We're going to do a little brake for this first apex here, because it's a sort of fast chicane, this one. And then we're just going to try and make sure that the car is right where we need it to be on the left-hand side of the track. And now, once we are past that first apex, that's when I brake a little bit harder, try and straighten the car up, brake very briefly up to 100% before trailing it off, down to first gear, and back on the gas at the apex of turn 5. And then it's just a race to the line. We have the driving line version coming up next for you guys that use it. As always, thank you lovely people for your fantastic support. I've been Sambo iRacing, I'll see you guys in the week.